My grandmother drank the same soup every morning for 70 years. She never had a stomach problem in her life. No bloating, no reflux, no cramping, nothing. She died at 94 with a gut that worked better than most 30-year-olds in America. That soup contains a living ecosystem of bacteria that has been fermenting for months before it reaches your bowl. It does what every $50 probiotic capsule on the market promises to do, but cannot because a capsule is a dead product pretending to be alive. And this soup is the real thing. Americans spend $2.5 billion a year on probiotic supplements. Most of those bacteria die in your stomach acid before they reach your intestine. Meanwhile, the answer has been sitting on a shelf at your local grocery store for $2, and nobody in the $12 billion supplement industry has any reason to tell you about it. Your gut is not a stomach, it is an organ system that contains roughly 70% of your entire immune system, produces about 90% of your body's serotonin, and hosts somewhere between 30 and 40 trillion bacteria. That bacterial colony is called your microbiome, and it controls far more than digestion. It regulates inflammation, mood, weight, skin health, nutrient absorption, and how well you sleep. When that colony is healthy and diverse, everything downstream works. When it is damaged, everything breaks. Right now, between 35 and 45 million Americans suffer from functional gastrointestinal disorders. IBS alone affects up to 25% of the population and costs over $20 billion a year in direct and indirect expenses. Digestive diseases collectively generate 41 million emergency room visits annually in the United States. And those are just the people who seek medical help. Two-thirds of people with chronic digestive symptoms wait more than a year before seeing a doctor. Many wait over a decade. The modern American gut is under assault from multiple directions simultaneously. Processed food, refined sugar, artificial sweeteners, antibiotics prescribed for conditions that do not require them, chronic stress, poor sleep, and alcohol. Every one of those factors strips bacterial diversity from your intestine. A single course of broad spectrum antibiotics can wipe out 30 to 40% of your gut bacteria in days. Some of those strains never come back. And here is what nobody connects for you: the bloating you feel after meals, the brain fog in the afternoon, the skin breakouts that started in your 30s, the anxiety that crept in without any obvious cause, the weight that will not come off no matter what you eat. All of those can trace back to a microbiome that has been systematically depleted over years of living in a way your gut was never designed to handle. In Okinawa, these conditions are rare, not reduced, rare. Our elders eat fermented food every single day and have done so for centuries. Their microbiomes are among the most diverse and resilient ever studied, and the centerpiece of that daily fermentation is a soup that takes 4 minutes to prepare and costs less than the gas station coffee you drank this morning. The probiotic supplement industry is projected to hit $22 billion globally by 2030. In the United States alone, consumers spend $2.5 billion a year on capsules, gummies, and powders that promise to restore gut health. The bottles say 50 billion CFU, colony forming unit, 50 billion bacteria in a single capsule. It sounds impressive until you understand what actually happens after you swallow it. Your stomach has a pH between 1.5 and 3.5, That is roughly the acidity of battery acid. It is designed to destroy biological material on contact. Most probiotic strains in commercial supplements are not equipped to survive that environment. They die before reaching your small intestine, which is where they need to arrive alive to do anything useful. The supplement industry knows this. That is why they started marketing enteric coated and delayed release capsules. Extra technology to solve a problem that should not exist in the first place. Even the strains that survive face another problem: colonization. Dropping billions of a single bacterial strain into a complex ecosystem of trillions is like releasing a million goldfish into the ocean and expecting them to take over. Your existing microbiome has established colonies, territorial dynamics, and competitive relationships that have been building since the day you were born. A capsule of lactobacillus taken once a day does not overwrite that system. Most of those bacteria pass straight through you within 48 hours without ever establishing a foothold. Compare that to what fermented food does. When you eat naturally fermented miso, you are not swallowing an isolated strain in a gelatin capsule. You are consuming an entire microbial community that has been living, competing, and cooperating inside that paste for months or even years. The bacteria are already adapted to surviving in a hostile environment because they have been thriving in a salty acidic fermentation medium for longer than most supplements sit on a shelf. And here is the number that should end the conversation. A single tablespoon of unpasteurized miso contains a broader diversity of living microorganisms than the most commercial probiotic supplements. It's at the cost of roughly 15 cents. So 15 cents versus $1.50 per capsule for a product that may not even reach your gut alive. The supplement industry is selling you a diluted, fragile imitation of something that already exists in a $2 bag of fermented paste at your grocery store. They know this, and they are counting on you never walking down the Asian food aisle to find out. The soup is called miso soup. You have probably heard of it. You may have even had it at a Japanese restaurant before ordering sushi. But what most people outside of Okinawa do not understand is that miso is not a flavoring. It is a medicine that happens to taste good. Miso is made through a two-stage fermentation process that has not changed in centuries. First, cooked rice is inoculated with a mold called Aspergillus oryzae. This is koji. It's the same organism that produces soy sauce, sake, and rice vinegar. The koji sits and ferments, producing enzymes that break down complex proteins and carbohydrates into simpler compounds the human body can absorb easily. Then the koji is mixed with cooked soybeans, salt, and water, and packed into containers where a second fermentation begins. This time, lactic acid bacteria and yeasts take over. Lactobacillus plantarum, one of the most studied probiotic strains in existence, thrives in this environment. The paste ferments for anywhere from 3 months to 2 years, depending on the variety. What comes out of that process is not just a food, it is a living biological system. The enzymes from the koji have pre digested the soy proteins into amino acids and bioactive peptides. The lactic acid bacteria have produced organic acids that lower pH and create an environment hostile to harmful pathogens. The yeasts have generated B vitamins and compounds that feed your existing gut bacteria. The isoflavones from the soybeans have been converted through fermentation into forms that are more bioavailable than they would be in unfermented soy. The research backs this up. A Japanese population study called the Nagahama study found that regular miso soup consumption was associated with significantly reduced symptoms of gastroesophageal reflux disease. A study on miso containing natto found that it improved the composition of intestinal flora and reduced the markers of aging in the gut within 14 days, not months. 2 weeks of daily consumption produced measurable changes in the bacterial composition of the human intestine. And miso does something that no probiotic capsule can. It is simultaneously a probiotic and a prebiotic. The living bacteria are the probiotic. The fiber, oligosaccharides, and fermentation byproducts are the prebiotic, meaning they feed the bacteria that are already living in your gut. A capsule delivers soldiers with no supply line. Miso delivers soldiers food and infrastructure all in the same spoonful. On my island, miso soup is not a health trend. It is breakfast. It has been breakfast for longer than anyone alive can remember. My grandmother did not eat it because a study told her to. She ate it because her mother made it, and her mother's mother made it. And somewhere back along that line, someone figured out that this paste kept people strong and their stomachs quiet through typhoon seasons, famines, and wars. The science arrived centuries later and confirmed what the kitchen already knew. If there is one rule that matters more than anything else in this section, the miso must be unpasteurized. If it has been pasteurized, the bacteria are dead and you are eating flavored soybean paste with zero probiotic value. Every health benefit I just described depends on the miso being alive. Look at the packaging. If it says raw, unpasteurized, or live cultures, you are good. If it does not say any of those things, put it back. You can find unpasteurized miso at Walmart, Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, most Asian grocery stores, and on Amazon. The brand does not matter as long as it is unpasteurized and ideally aged for at least 3 months. A 16-ounce tub costs between $3 and $6 and lasts roughly 3 to 4 weeks at one serving per day. That comes out to about 15 to 20 cents per bowl. Here is how to make it. Boil 2 cups of water. While the water heats, chop a small handful of whatever vegetables you have. Seaweed, green onions, spinach, mushrooms, tofu. Any combination works. Add the vegetables to the boiling water and let them soften for 2 to 3 minutes. Now turn off the heat. This is a critical step. You do not add miso to boiling water. Boiling water kills the bacteria. Wait until the water has cooled enough that you can touch the side of the pot comfortably. Then take 1 tablespoon of miso paste. Dissolve it in a small amount of the warm broth in a separate cup and stir it back into the pot. That is your soup. 4 minutes from start to finish. Drink it in the morning with breakfast every day. The consistency matters more than the quantity. 1 bowl per day, every day, is more effective than 3 bowls twice a week. Your microbiome responds to regularity. The bacteria in the miso need to arrive consistently to establish colonies alongside your existing gut flora. The cost comparison is not even close. A 30-day supply of a mid-range probiotic supplement runs $25 to $50. A 30-day supply of daily miso soup costs roughly $4 to $6, and you are getting a broader spectrum of living organisms in a form your body was designed to process as food. You are also getting protein, B, vitamins, manganese, zinc, and antioxidants that no capsule includes. If you want to amplify the effect, add other fermented foods to your daily routine: kimchi, sauerkraut, natural yogurt, kefir. Each one brings different strains of bacteria. Diversity is what your gut needs, not 50 billion copies of the same organism in a capsule. In Okinawa, miso soup is just the foundation. Our elders eat pickled vegetables, fermented tofu, and seaweed daily. Their guts are not healthy because of one magic food. They are healthy because fermentation is built into every meal. I am not telling you to throw away your gastroenterologist's number. If you have a diagnosed condition, keep working with your doctor. What I am telling you is that the foundation of gut health is not complicated, it is not expensive, and it has never been a capsule. My grandmother made miso soup every morning in a kitchen with no countertops and no running hot water. She used a pot, a wooden spoon, and a paste she kept in a ceramic jar in the cool part of the house. That jar was never empty. When it ran low, she made more or traded for it with a neighbor who did. There was no brand name on it, no CFU count, no marketing, just fermented soybeans, salt, rice, and thyme. And it kept her gut working perfectly for 94 years. 45 million Americans are struggling with digestive problems right now. The system's answer is a $12 billion supplement, oil, and prescription drugs that manage symptoms without addressing the cause. The answer that has worked on my island for centuries costs less than a cup of gas station coffee, and it takes less time to prepare than it took you to read the back of that probiotic bottle. Try it for 14 days. One bowl every morning. That is how long the research says it takes for your gut bacteria to begin shifting. Track your bloating, your energy, your digestion. Let your body tell you what the studies already confirmed. Drop your biggest gut health complaint in the comments. Bloating, reflux, irregular digestion, whatever it is, I want to hear it. And tell me if you have ever spent money on a probiotic and what it actually did for you. Those stories need to be told because the supplement industry is not going to tell them. In the next video, I am going to show you 13 items you can find at any Walmart for under $4 that Okinawan elders have been using for centuries. You have walked past them 1,000 times without knowing what they are or what they do. That changes when you see what I have to show you.